Okay, what we have here, I've already loaded up on the board here, Robert Edward Smith. Now, under Robert, as we do, we take down the values of each letter and produce a total of the person's name numerically by adding it up. Now, we're adding up only the base number letters. So in other words, R is in fact an 18 letter, but we're making it 9. So we keep reducing them to their single digit first. Hence T is the 20th letter, but we're leaving that as 2. So adding them down, we get 962592. That totals to 33. We reduce that 33 to the number 6. Now I do know that 33 is a master number, but I'm not worried about that just yet. Edward here, we do the same thing. We take the letters down into the numerical form, and that comes to 28 for Edward, which reduces to a 1. We're just going 28, 10, 1, using your head for that one. So last number here, last number there, and of course the 24, 6 for Smith, with the 14928 under each of the letters. Reduces to 24 and adds to 6. Now these three numbers are his whole name, that's his destiny. And so we add the 6 up to the 1, it makes 7, and the 6 makes 13. So that's his destiny number there, which I've put in the circle as we do, with a little box on the end of it to indicate his called name, Robert Smith. I'm not worried about Bob here. That may be a name that he gives to close friends and family, but this is a real person who came in with a request to have some work done. I won't give you any more information of where he is, because it is confidential that we keep this stuff to ourselves, hence I'm not telling you where this guy is from. So this particular person here has a 13-4 destiny, the DST is here. If we look at his first name Robert and his last name Smith, we add this 6 to this 6, which then comes to 12 or 3, which I put on the box at the end of his destiny. The same thing applies when we take the vowels up. Now the vowels are only A, E, I, O and U. We don't use the Y. Up here in the Robert then, we've got an O and an E, and that's the value of 6 and 5. 6 and 5 is 11, 1 and 1 is 2. In Edward we've got an E and an A. So 5 for E and A is 1, 5 and 1 is 6. And in Smith we only have the one vowel, which is I, take that straight up. So 2 and 6 is 8 and 9 is 17, which we put into the heart's desire area, and that reduces to 8. But Robert Smith, his called name again, the first and last name is the called name. So his called name heart's desire here is 11. By adding the 2 and the 9 together, we get the number 11. So we've got a first name, which is important, a destiny, the called name destiny, the vowels across the top, the heart's desire, and the called name heart's desire. To go over here to his birthday, that extra distance, we're going to say we know that his birthday is the 8th day of February, 8-2, 8th day February 1973. And what I've done here is I've taken the 8 and the 2 and added those two together, you get 10. So that 10 there is reduced to a 1. Those two numbers reduce to a 1, and we add that to the year number. 1973 adds up to 20 or 2. So by adding 8 and 2 together, I've got 8 2 is 10, which is 1, plus 2 equals 3. So Robert's whole name, his birthday adds up to a 3, which is his birth force. Now we know that the birth force means how he does things. This part here is the characteristics of a person's personality type, but the name that we've got here creates the personality for the person. So this part is what people see, their attitude and everything comes from that. And on the birth force side, this is how he does things. We know what each number represents as its key meaning, and you've got to apply that number to the arena that it fits in. How does he up front with his traits, because the birthday is considered like a trait of how he does things. So the 8 up the front here, this trait, indicates how he approaches things, kind of strong-willed, kind of determined in many respects. The birth force is the entitled thing, but how does he do it overall? He might go in quite strong, but he is actually quite creative, quite artistic. He's quite able to be out there and do things. Maybe even outside type work. Because this one here, when you're working with a 3, which means expressive, yes, but we're looking at how does somebody express things in an activity. Well, they can build things, they can create things, they can paint things, they can do sports, they can play music. But an 8 is a strong part of this creative aspect. Determined sort of a bloke in his characteristics. The ultimate goal, which comes from the destiny, which is his whole name number, 13-4 here. This 4 adds to that 3 to get that 7. The ultimate goal is where he's going to in life when he gets a lot older. And as you'll see in a moment, he's in his 38th year, so he's not that old yet. When we add the called name, which is his first and last name here, which is 3, his called name destiny, we add that to the birth force and we get 6. So you could say that's his main ultimate goal, which is thinking and developing as he gets older, perfecting and refining things. But as we get a bit older still, into this latter years, 50 odd plus, we're looking at a person who is kind of likes the lovely things of life, the enjoyable things of life. Might be a bit of conflict there because of the 6s and 7s. We're going to come down now, and from his numbers of the letters of his name, we know that 3 and 3 in the physical plane are the letters that he has in his name, which are the physical letters. And as you recall, on the physical, the 4 and the 5 are the numbers of the letters that we're looking for in his name. We've got 3 4s. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 4s there. How many 5s do we have? Well, we've got 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. No other 5s. So by doing the 4s and 5s, we've got 3 4s, 3 5s, it equals 6. This is just the total. The total shan't be reduced. Never reduce it, even if you get a 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever. Following on from that, we've got 1s and 8s. He's got 2 1s and 1 8. That makes a total of 3. In the emotional part of his chart, these are the 2s, 3s and 6s. He has got 3 2s, no 3s, and 1 6. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And on the intuitive side, 7s and 9s. He's got no 7s in his numbers up here. And he's got 4 9s. So 0 plus 4 equals 4. We total that up. 6 and 3 is 9, plus 8 is 17. And counting the letters up in his name, there are 17 letters. So that's correct, I can tick that. That just makes sure that we haven't made a mistake in here, because that can be quite important. And as you can see here, this 6 is probably the biggest number he's got out of all of them, but not so much bigger that we'd call that a real genius. That just means he likes to work fairly hard, but unfortunately for him, because your emotions are your real driver, this is what causes people to do what they want to do in life. This emotions here is the part that rules him, and because the number 4 is a physical number, this number probably rules what he likes to do. If he's upset, his health will go down. If he's really happy, he can work very hard. So that's generally what we do there to get that, and we won't go too much into depth. This is a chart reading. The 17 is called the bad habit number. We don't reduce that to an 8. It means himself and the number 7. So 1 and 7 would be 1 with wisdom, but when it's a negative or a bad habit, it means I like to think about what I like to do. So he may be a bit introverted there and not really let himself out, his emotions and his feelings. Because his destiny is a 4, 4 is also a number that says, I'm a little bit sensitive, I like to work with my hands on things, and if somebody gives me a bit of a hard time, I can become a wee bit introverted. That's what the 3 does. Yet it's interesting is 4 likes to work hard, 3 says I like to be creative. So here's this chatty, colourful, bright side to him, but if he gets hurt, he introverts and withdraws. Because he has an 8 up here in his heart's desire, which is the bigger things in life, that's what I like to do, and his 11 2 up here, which is a master number, but it doesn't really apply unless he knows how to use a master number. This particular 11 relates an awful lot to how he dreams things. It's in his dream area, his heart area, the intangible side, the emotional side of his makeup. So he dreams things on a big scale and probably wants to get rich quick schemes. Probably find an easy way of doing it. Really, this is quite a difficult chart for a person who hasn't been given a lot of educational support from family, friends, or the way he was being brought up. Determined here to make money the hard way, or should I say the easy way, so putting effort in to make it easy. And 3 birth force indicating he's quite clever with how he does it. Thinking a lot about how he can achieve things. Now, we've covered his name and we've covered his birth force and his birth data, and we've covered the planes of expression here, showing that his emotions control his physical world. And even though he's fairly high on the intuitive scale, I'm not going to go there because too much of this is about money and grabbing stuff. That's my view on it, my learned view. Now down here we have a timeline, and this timeline is in years. So age 35, 36, 7, 38, 39 and 40. We know he's 38 this year. That's easy to do by taking away the calendar year that he's got here of 1973 from 2011, and that will give you his age at 38. These are the letters of his name in Robert, and in the middle name Edward, and the surname Smith, as they are spread out. I'm not going to go over that, you know how to do that at the moment, but in reality I want to work on this particular part down here